Wow, that's a lovely warm welcome, isn't it? Thank you. Well, thank you all for coming and sticking out the day and coming to this session. I hope you're going to take lots away with you to implement, and I hope demystify SEO so that you all feel confident that you know much more about it and you can make judgments about whether your site is optimized and move forward more knowledgeable as your owners of your business. So, just a very quick introduction. This is my team. There's Chloe and Kelsey, and this is a photo care of this lovely lady at the front, very talented photographer that came and saw us. This is what we do. We help you with customer research. That could be focus groups, it could be telephone interviews, online surveys, all that sort of thing. We help with marketing strategy, and then we're like an outsourced marketing department, so we can help with both traditional and digital marketing. And we can also help with marketing training, so you're not beholden to an agency. So we've hopefully got a super flexible service really to help everyone. Main thing is marketing's trying to be cost effective, measurable, and targeted to your exact target audience. What we want really is everything we do is about feeling confident in your marketing, because it is an area that's so easy to waste marketing money, isn't it? So it's something where we just try and make sure that you're doing the right thing in the right way. So this was me last year doing my talk on LinkedIn. Anyone got any LinkedIn questions? I'm always happy to answer. And I am speaking on LinkedIn at the Tunbridge Wells business show that's coming up soon, care of this man over here, Nick, who's the organizer, and also at the Gatwick business show as well, if you want to catch me at either of those events on that topic. Just a little bit of interest. This time last year, I was also very excited to be part of a TV show. Alex Polizzi and her team called me up, and I was actually part of the hotel inspector show, delivering her sort of vision for marketing, where she was turning around a business. So that was really fun, and recorded that this time last year as well as DigiFest, very on at the same time. So today, let's get into the program. We're talking about SEO, so that's search engine optimization, and it's all about, as I'm sure you know, making your website visible in Google search results. So this is often how people feel about SEO. It's kind of like, it's a dark art, people get fleeced for money, you know, people are just not doing it properly. I don't know how to judge whether it's being done properly or not. You know, it's a bit like me trying to choose an accountant. I don't actually know whether you're better at tax or you are, and I have no way of telling. And, you know, are you better at fixing something in my house, or are you better plumber? You know, I just have no idea at all. So often SEO is like that. So my job today is to definitely make you feel like you can look at your website and be able to understand whether it's SEO'd or not, and at least what jobs need to be done. And then you can work with someone and be able to see whether they're doing what needs doing. So local SEO is also what I'm focusing on more as well. So this is where you are really trying to target a more local audience or regional audience to get your prospects in. So, you know, right now, let's have a show of hands. Who's super confident that if I typed in architect Eastbourne or photographer East Sussex, that their website is going to come up for whatever you do? Who's putting their hand up saying, yep, I'm good? Okay, 5 of you. Okay, I might actually test this later and we'll demo and see. So a lot of you then a little bit uncertain, not sure if you're really ranking when you should. So essentially the bottom line is you have got to help Google know that your website or individual pages on your website are relevant to someone's search. You have to help Google know what your website's about, otherwise it will simply not show your pages. So starting at the beginning, the fundamental things, if I was to type something like LinkedIn training, East Sussex, into the top of a Google search, I would want to come up on the top of Google search. So inevitably there's the ad, so there's people that are paying to arrive. And then you've got an SEO page title and an SEO page description. So this top line in a Google search result is called a page title. And this sort of sentence format underneath is the SEO page description. And what you need to do is you need to write this text and put it on the back end of your website in the SEO fields, so that then Google can read this title particularly to judge whether your website is relevant to someone's search. So if you don't fill this in properly, Google won't know what your website's about. So I'll come on to explain this a little bit more. But you can see here that LinkedIn Trainee Sussex was what I put in as a search. I have no idea who Emma Pearce is. I have no idea who Pearce Marketing is. I've never heard of it before. I'm looking for a supplier in a certain area because I'd like to have one-to-one face-to-face training. And my website has come up top of search because I've got LinkedIn training in East Sussex, which is a match, basically. And my website has then been better than the others in the options, and mine's been put first. Do just come in and take a seat. So what happens is, if I go onto any website, or indeed you go onto any website, anyone in the world, you go onto their website, you can hover your cursor on your desktop, and on a what do you call it? A laptop, as opposed to a MacBook anyway. This box will pop up, and you can tell what the page title is on every single website that's out there. So you could go and look at your competition, and just go and hover your cursor, and this little box will pop up, and you can see what your competitors have currently got as their SEO page title. So at the moment, on the LinkedIn page I was talking about earlier, you can see that the LinkedIn training East Sussex, those words are there, and that matches what was on that previous screen here. So what's there is also what's at the top when I hover my cursor over. So that's a really, really super simple way for you to check what your current website looks like and what your competitors' websites are focused on. So if you go, and this happens quite a bit, I meet people and they're saying, oh, my website just does not show up in search results. My web designer told me that they'd submitted my website to Google, but it's never appearing. Quite often what happens is I go and look at their website, I hover my cursor over the top of that, and it says homepage, and then the name of the business, which is just the system default. When it's been built, you have a homepage. The website belongs to the company called Pearce Marketing. So by default, it's called that. The service page will be service page Pearce Marketing. So funnily enough, no one goes to Google and searches homepage, which is what you've told Google that web page is about. So this field, that's what Google is going to check first to decide whether your website is relevant to someone's search. If you have not optimized your website, it will say something like homepage, and no one, when they're looking for an architect, goes to Google and types homepage. So it will just simply never be there. It will be invisible. It will never come up in search. So hopefully that, as a basic principle, just like, okay, that makes sense. If I check my website, I wonder what's in my page title. Well, you can go and have a look when you get back on your desktop. So what are the foundation things you need to do then with SEO? So the first thing is that you need to work out, well, what do people search? What do my ideal clients search for when they're looking for my type of services? And I'll come on to that more in a moment. And then what you can do is you can use a tool online. I pay an enormous amount of money every year to have a tool that gives me all this data. So I often help people out with keyword research, but you can go onto quite a few tools and maybe do 5 searches a day or something just to get a little bit of intel. So you can see, if I was an HR consultant, I might be thinking, well, I've got a home page, an about page, I've got a service page, and I could optimize all 3 of those pages for different phrases that people might use when searching for my service. So I could do a little search. I can see, well, HR consultant is actually searched 2,900 times a month on average in the UK in the last 12 months. The word outsourced HR is searched 650 times. So, and there'll be other phrases as well. So I could then decide, okay, well, actually, I'd like to really be found for both of those phrases. I'm an HR consultant. I don't want to only be found when people call me an HR consultant. I want to be found if they're searching for outsourced HR as well. So what I will do is I think, well, these 2 words, phrases, are ones I want to be found for. So I'm going to assign the HR consultant phrase to my homepage, and I'm going to assign the outsourced HR to my service page. And maybe there's another phrase, and I'll put that on my about page. So each individual page of your website can be optimized for a different phrase that people might be searching for when they look for your services. So you're doing this keyword research to find out, what do people search, which ones do I want to be found for, and which one is the most relevant for each page of my website. And then you're also going to find in some cases that there's actually a whole heap of phrases you want to be found for, and actually you haven't got enough pages on your website. And so what you might decide to do then is think, well, actually I could optimize a blog, because you can optimize blog pages just like you can web pages. So it might be that you would choose a phrase for a blog for different pages, and then you might create landing pages, so separate additional pages on your website in order to be found. So they might not appear in the main navigation of your website, but they are available on your website as other pages. There's, just as an example, there's a chap who's an IFA, he's based in Eastbourne. He really wants to get found in Tunbridge Wells because he feels that there's more people with some disposable income, and he wants to try and get work over that way. Now, because he has no office in Tunbridge Wells, he's less likely to come up on maps. He's not going to necessarily be able to come up if he's just optimizing for Eastbourne and East Sussex and Tunbridge Wells or wherever, all in one page. So what he does is, what we did for him was we created a landing page just for IFA Tunbridge Wells. And that page, you can't find it in the main navigation, but when you search, that page will come up and you'll just land on his website and everything will look as normal. But it's a dedicated page just for that one phrase and location. So doing this keyword research will really help you decide, have I got enough pages? Do I want to create extra pages to accommodate the phrases that you want to be found for? So that's the first stage. Then you've got to find out what phrases do you want to be found for. Then you have the next stage, which is called on-page optimization. So with this, what you're doing is you're writing the SEO page title and the SEO page description. So those two fields that I showed you at the very beginning that show up on the Google search results, you're going to write a unique title and description for each web page. So if you've got a WordPress website, for example, you might have the Yoast SEO plugin, and there will be a place where you'll put in your focus key phrase, which might be something like marketing speaker or LinkedIn training or whatever it is. And so what you're doing here is you're writing what would become the page title and what would become the page description. And you're writing you're writing a title and a description for each page of your website that uses the chosen key phrase for that page. So if this is my marketing speaker page, I've written a page title that says marketing speaker. That's the phrase people search. Where I want to get found is East Sussex, London, Brighton, or indeed actually across the UK, because I can go and do a speaking gig wherever. And then I've written a description here underneath, and this also incorporates the key phrase of marketing speaker and UK as well. So what I've done is I've found out that I want to optimize for the phrase marketing speaker. I've written my page title and my page description where I've put those important phrases in. So the page title, this one, is approximately 50 characters will show on the Google results page. You can have more characters than that. Google will still read them partly, but they won't be visible. So the more you keep to this length, it will be there. And otherwise, you can sometimes see them with ... and it just means there's a couple of other words on the end. And it might just be your business name on the end. For the page description, this is more sentence format, and you should include benefit statements. So if you offer free delivery, a free consultation, or something like that, you would put that into there as well. The next step of on-page optimization is to then actually absorb that key phrase you've chosen through the copy on the website. So by filling in the page title, you've told Google my page is about LinkedIn training, outsourced HR, whatever it is that you've chosen, but Google will then decide to check whether your page really talks about that. So you can't just put a keyword in the page title and then think, oh, well, that will kind of palm off Google, that's that sorted. You actually have to make sure the text on the page also is relevant to that topic, and you use the phrase through the text. So you can have here, you can see I've got LinkedIn training in East Sussex in the title. Then in the first sentence, I've used the phrase LinkedIn and I've got it in bold. And then I've got further down the page, I've got a testimonial that's got LinkedIn training in it. And then I've got the word East Sussex against it. So you can see, you can't see the whole page, but you get the idea that what I'm doing is I'm absorbing the key phrase for that page in titles, in the general copy, in testimonials, and I'm weaving it in. Now, the next thing to take on board is that you need a minimum of 300 words of copy on a page for Google to actually read it and see that, yes, you really are talking about being a LinkedIn trainer, or you really are talking about being a landscape gardener, or whatever it is that you are. So, you know, lots of people, if they're photographers, interior designers, artists, they just want to have a beautiful website. You know, here's all my lovely pictures. I don't want any words. I want it minimalist. It's all beautiful. That's no good for SEO, because Google's got nothing to read, and it can't validate that that page is really talking about the subject that I'm searching for. And all Google wants to do is give you the best search results. So you have to try and fit in 300 words of copy. Now, if you're an e-commerce website, say you sell Liberty fabrics, you know, and you've just got beautiful product pictures and clicks through to the buying pages, you might just try and have a little paragraph of text at the top, and then right down the bottom, you can just have a couple of extra paragraphs about us, or, you know, your returns policy or something. But that just adds the 300 words, but you've split them so your page doesn't look ugly at the top. And so what you need to do is incorporate these key phrases. Now, sometimes people will say, oh yeah, I'm just going to stuff it full of keywords. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to make sure Google really, really knows. Have a seat, guys. Google really, really knows that I'm talking about this, and it'll stuff loads of keywords in. Well, actually, what's going to happen then is Google's going to say, whoa, hang on a minute. You're spamming this page. I'm going to downgrade you straight away. So you have to get the keyword density, as it's called, at that optimum level. And that is between 1% and 3%. We tend to go for a 2% keyword density when we're optimizing a page as our starting point. So, sorry, this is a bit tech, but what happens is you start with 300 words of copy on your page. To get a 2% keyword density means you need to put the phrase on 6 times. 2% of 300 is 6. So if I've got the phrase marketing speaker that I'm trying to put through a page, I've only written 300 words. I need to get the phrase marketing speaker on the page 6 times. Nicely woven in so it's not spammy and a horrible page to read, because you want the user experience to still be good reading your website. So if you end up writing 600 words, obviously it's going to be 12 times you need to try and incorporate the keyword, so, or close to, if you're trying to get the 2% keyword density. So you found your keywords, you've written your page title and description, and now you've put that same keyword and locations that you're targeting through the copy. So you add your locations. They don't have to be in as quite the same sort of density, but I find, you know, having testimonials on the page is a great way to easily absorb in a key phrase and a location. So that's quite a nice way to do it. It could even count, you know, your address at the bottom of the website. That's probably got, you know, then a location that you serve in. So there's ways you can get that in. And then also image alt tags on a website where you have images. You are meant to have an image alt tag, which is where you describe what's in the picture. Part of the Disability Discrimination Act as well. You know, you're meant to describe what an image is for those people that are partially sighted, but actually for Google as well, if I've got, say this was a picture of me being a marketing speaker, I could actually describe the photo as marketing speaker Emma Pearce, you know, London or UK or whatever, and that actually means that in Google search results where images come up, your image might actually appear on Google search results as well. So, stay with me. I know it's a bit of information overload. The next thing that's really important as part of your SEO, this is all your on-page stuff you've done, but there's some supporting bits of SEO you need to do to really try and help you get the benefit. So first thing is a Google business profile. So a lot of you will see these sorts of images come up when you search for a business name. So that is your Google business profile. And if you haven't got one, you should have one, although they've changed a bit recently, so it's not as straightforward as it used to be. But this is basically the central record of your business that Google has. So it incorporates Google Maps, it's reviews, it's your address, it's your company name, it's a description of your business, all sorts of things. So make sure you have one of those, and do aim to get Google reviews, because that all helps your rankings. Google business profiles are ideal if you have a physical premises, you know, that people come to, so shops and offices and garages and so on. But where you get stuck with that, or you working from home, you don't want your personal address on, you know, visible on Google, you can now actually set up a service area based business, so where you go out to clients. So for lots of us, that's great. And we've got a blog about that, which you can find on my website. And that just means that you don't put an address in. But there's a lot of things about verifying your profile, because again, Google's trying to stop there being fake profiles. And so sometimes you have to supply a video, or they'll send you a postcard with a code on and that sort of thing. But it's been a bit of a faff for quite a lot of people getting approval. You're nodding.
Yeah,
I know someone that's...
Mine's been on for years, and I updated it about 3 weeks ago, and they emailed me yesterday to say that they've taken it, my Google profile down.
Oh goodness. Oh, we'll talk afterwards maybe about that, and hear your case. I mean, I've also changed offices recently, and it's been 3 months before it's been properly updated, and it still sometimes shows the wrong thing. So it is a bit of a pain in the bum. And I had another client who's a plumbing and aircon specialist up in Surrey, and they did 5 videos to supply to Google to prove that this was their signage and they really was their premises, and it's a right faff. But it also can go completely smoothly. But it's one of those things where unfortunately we just need this from Google, because, you know, this is 95% of search, and we're all slaves to Google. There can also be a Bing business page as well. So Bing is obviously a less popular search engine, but if you use Alexa or any of Microsoft products for search, that uses Bing as its core search engine. So if you have a Bing business profile as well, just all helps. Then there's a thing called backlinks or citations or directory listings, and this is where you also put your business into reputable directories online. So there might be just general online business directories, there might be sector-specific directories, there might be industry-specific directories, often free to list your business. Even your chamber entries, you know, if you belong to Eastbourne Chamber, you'd have a listing for your business on their website. That would be what's called a backlink. Basically, it's somewhere else on Google pointing to your website. So they point back to your website. And if that's a reputable site, Google likes to think, well, you must be a good website because other people want to send you there. So it's all about reputation and that sort of thing. So one of the holy grail backlinks would be like the BBC, that, you know, maybe they've done an article and you're on a BBC news website and there's a link to your website. And so that would be seen as a real high quality backlink and very reputable. So what you do here is you just gradually over time build up your backlinks. There was a time where if you did them too quickly, it was too spammy. So, you know, do 10 a month or something, gradually build it up. And then as you join different organizations, that you might add more in, but it does all help. Then make sure that you've got Google Analytics on your website so you can actually see details about how many visitors you're getting, how long they're staying, which are the most popular pages, all that type of data. So you know the results of your SEO, whether it is bringing more traffic to your website. And also, please, Google Search Console. I know it's too many Google things, but they're both free. But with Google Search Console, you're able to just check that Google can see your website properly. So Google Search Console will just tell you if Google can't index, isn't indexing any of your pages, and then in other words, it's stopping it showing in Google search results. So that's a good thing to check as well. So a few more tips. Regularly update your website. Google does not like ranking websites that have not been touched for 2 years, 5 years. You know, so add blogs, change prices, alter some text, change some photos. Doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't have to be every week, every day. Just, you know, at least once a month, try and make a change on your website, add something to your website. It will all help. Having some video on your website could be helpful as well. Obviously, video is the way a lot of content is consumed these days. It could be a YouTube short. It could be an embedded Instagram reel. It could be a video that you've had done as a big professional job. But some video on your website can also help with ranking points. Links between pages of your sites as well. So what Google likes to see is that you're making someone's journey through your website really easy. So if you're saying, oh, we've got a blog about this, then you can link people through, and maybe an external link to a chamber website, to an association, to another place that's useful. And having good overall website architecture. So by that I mean the more tech SEO side, that your URLs, the whole structure is well set up and they're named properly. You know, sometimes you go, say, Pearce Marketing, and then you might have services page, and then you might have LinkedIn training. And usually the URL would say those things with a slash between. Some websites where the URL structure has not been set up right, you'll suddenly have a load of numbers and letters and the pages aren't labeled properly. That's just messy and Google won't like that so much. Remember to compress images before you put them on your website. Don't upload video directly to your website. Just make sure your website's much slower. And then the loading speed is really frustrating for people. And Google will not rank sites that are really slow to load. And then obviously try not to have any broken links where things don't work. And, you know, all these other things that you think Google won't really recognize, it does. Things like news articles, reviews, awards, people searching for your brand by its name, all of that stuff all helps your ranking placing. So remember, you can also optimize your social profiles as well. So we talked about optimizing your website. You can also optimize your social accounts. So a lot of the time when someone searches for marketing consultant East Sussex, my website comes up and so does my LinkedIn profile, because I've optimized this for marketing consultant East Sussex, and I've optimized all the various sections of my profile as well. So do think about that, because what you want to do as well is optimize your profile so you come up within the search within the platform, so within Instagram or within LinkedIn. You optimize your profile so you come up within that platform as well as on Google. Okay, so it's probably like, oh, bloody hell, Emma, just shut up now. This is like a bit too much. But I hope this has helped you to just understand where it comes from, and that, you know, there is a process to it, but it doesn't have to be too complicated. What are the keywords? And place them on the right pages, weave them through the copy, and then at least you're giving Google the information it needs. And these are some more lovely pictures from this lovely photographer right here. Just a few more acronyms to throw you in my last minute. I think that I've got, some of you might now be hearing about AIOs. And this is the AI summary that's now appearing at the top of Google results all the time. So it rolled out in May 24, and then this piece that pops up here at the top, this is where the rankings are now down here, was terrible. It was often talking rubbish. And they actually pulled it back and they sorted it out a bit. And now it is much improved, not perfect all the time, but most of the time what gets listed here has been pulled from what would have been the top ranking pages on that page anyway, and you might be indexed here as well. So a lot of people were worried, well, this great thing's here now. This is pushing the rank, you know, the other business listings down and we might not appear. But there is a possibility that you're actually being quoted up here if you're well ranked. If you've got a good SEO on your website, even though this is here, this might even be quoting you. It won't be pushing you off the page necessarily. There's also something called EAT. So this is a Google framework. So from March 23, Google's saying that it likes content that has now experience as well as expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. So experience is that your content is much less likely to be AI written, actually, because it's talking about, I've done this. This was a real thing that I did in my job. This is my opinion, specific anecdotes from your work. So when you write the content that's on your pages that you're optimizing, the more it seems like it's genuinely from you and your experience, not just generic stuff, you're also much more likely to rank. So sorry, whizzing through this a bit quick. Not necessarily a direct ranking factor, but Google wants quality content, and this will all help. And then there's SXO, which is the last one, which is a bit of a merge. I'm sure you've heard of the CX, which is the customer experience, and UX, which is user experience on websites. And this is kind of combining the two. So not only do you rank well, but when someone arrives on the website, it's actually a really useful website. And so someone's looking for running shoes, actually then you've got a guide to how to really know that you're buying the right running shoe for you. So it's not only do you appear because I've searched for running shoes, you're going to give me some really useful stuff to help me make my decision. So it's really about retaining visitors on your webpage and making that a good experience. So I was going to try and have time for anyone to say, go on then, have a look at my website and we'll see if you've got basic SEO on there. So some people will be like, yes, which these 5 people were, weren't they? About I can do it. And then other people are like, no, please don't show my website. But if we have time, if anyone wants to stay for a minute, I don't know if the room's busy though, actually, we might not be able to. But I could have a look. If you want to pop over to my stand, I'm in the room over there. We can have a quick look at your site if you'd like to. If you'd like to, for me to basically send you like a 4 or 5 page report of what the status of your website is right now for what I've talked about today, just scan this or come to my stand and scan the QR code and we'll send you that plain English description of where your website stands. And if you want to do it online, if you pop to my LinkedIn profile, hit the visit my website, it'll take you to a page and you can request the SEO check from there. And do sign up to our newsletter. We give away loads of useful tips. And if you've enjoyed the talk today, if you want to pop a review on Google, that's always much appreciated. So finally then, there is a bit of free business support around at the moment. If any of you are from Rother, so Bexhill, Battle, rural East Sussex area that way, there is 18 hours potentially of free business support, which could be HR, marketing, finance, strategy. In fact, the man you want to speak to is right here. There is, in Rother area, there's still some availability for you to potentially gain this funding. And even if you are in the Wilden, Lewis and Eastbourne boroughs, there is a new scheme coming out that would still be worth checking. So I know I'm out of time, so I'm going to run by quickly to just say thank you very much for listening, and I hope that's been helpful. So thank you very much.
Thank you.